thought you were going to smoke a cigarette first.
I'll smoke a cigarette while we're doing this.
Okay.
I mean, we don't have to jump right into it right away.
No.
I mean, I have it recording.
Yeah. Maybe it'll pick up some gold.
Yeah. I gotta fix the mixer.
Liquid gold. Velveeta shells and cheese. This episode brought to you by Velveeta shells and cheese.
Cheese.
America's favorite dinner. I like shells and cheese better than the powdered shit.
Oh yeah.
It's way better. It's probably way worse for you, but
well, first off, you have the cheese is Velveeta and it's melted, but also the shell.
The shell
the
is so
shape
good.
is so important with pasta. That's why they have so many different shapes.
Yeah.
If they all tasted the same, why would they make different shapes?
Right. Yeah, I saw that they were selling shells and cheese, but it's the powdered stuff.
That's gross.
I want to try it.
Is it Velveeta?
No. It's some off-brand I saw at Island Foods when I was getting that fucking
Dude,
Clorox
avoid that
stuff.
shit like the plague.
Why?
Because it ain't fucking Velveeta, so...
If it ain't Velveeta, I don't fuck with it.
Exactly.
You don't fuck with Kraft?
Dude, what the... I mean, I craft shit.
You don't fuck with Kraft mac and cheese?
I make stuff sometimes.
Kraft mac and cheese makes their own stuff that's similar to Velveeta, but it's Kraft brand.
I don't know if I have a mouse. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so we just gonna fucking dick off for a little bit?
No, we can jump right into this. Let's
All right.
just dive right into it.
Let's dive right into it. Okay, so you heard my response.
Yes.
Let's start with the Trump phone leaks.
Okay. Your perception on it is it's basically the way an inexperienced leader would act, in his first weeks of the job, talking to another head of state.
Yeah.
Right. I think the other people's issues with it is it kind of makes him sound arrogant, and the tone that he takes with certain people almost sounds like he's trying to hide the fact that he knows Mexico's not going to pay for the wall, and he just wants the president of Mexico to just not say anything about it.
Yeah, and him saying, all right, do we know Trump knows that Mexico's not going to pay for the wall?
He says that he knows that they're not going to pay for it, but he just doesn't want him to talk about it publicly.
Or
it's basically just a
okay.
guy. My interpretation of it is different than yours.
Well, let's hear yours.
My interpretation of it is he's willfully suppressing the truth. By telling Mexico's president, just don't talk about it, he's lying to the people that voted for him, essentially. Lying by omission is what he's wanting the Mexican president to do. That's the way I took it.
I can see why you're coming from that.
That's the way I took it.
I see it.
Right.
For me, though, I see a guy who's not willing to take no for an answer, and let's keep talking about it.
Right.
When you're paying for something of a project at this scale, and again, how do you feel about the wall? Do you want it built?
No. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's dumb.
It ruins migration patterns of animals, and I like animals more than humans.
Yeah.
So if we're going to do anything that interferes with animals, fuck it.
And the humans and the shit that we don't want crossing the border are already going underground to do it.
It don't matter.
They're
They'll dig. Go to Home Depot and pick up a 20-foot extension ladder. Ain't that difficult?
Bam, it's done. The walls. So,
Right.
But that's not the argument here. The argument is how he's perceiving it. When you're paying for a project to this scale, it's not like the Mexican president. What's his name? I feel like an asshole just saying Mexican president. Don't know? Whatever. So the Mexi dude, the brown one, let's get real asshole-ish on this.
Ouch.
The brown one, he's not going to sign a check and then hand it to Trump, and Trump's going to walk down to, Chase Bank and say, hey, got this check, can we pay for the wall now? No, it's going to come out of, very diverse and very complex systems and economies and markets blending and shit.
Right.
And if it can be done in such a way where Mexico is responsible for most of that money, why is it so hard to have that conversation? And again, I'm sticking by my roots with, I feel like the brown guy is just digging.
His name's President Nieto.
Nieto?
Yeah, he's actually a really handsome dude, too.
Yo, he's a beautiful man.
He's a handsome guy.
And he's got a cool name, Nieto.
Enrique Peña Nieto.
So, how do you address presidents? Like, President Nieto. Yeah, so President Nieto, he's just, no, we're not paying for it. Nope, 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 nope,
Right.
nope, nope. Nope, 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 nope. And Trump's like, look, you're not going to fucking pay for it. We get that. But can we work out in a way in which you do pay for it, but it's not like,
Yeah.
it's a complex issue, man.
It is a very complex issue.
And to just sit there and just say no, 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 and
Mm-hmm.
Trump's like, dude, let's talk about how we can even do this.
Right.
Let's work together. And President Nieto says, yeah, I'm willing to work with them, and I want to do this shit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, then start fucking figuring out how you can use this to your advantage.
Right.
You know?
Again, I don't think the surface issue is really about the wall. I just feel like it's Trump's ego wanting to suppress the fact that he lied to everybody to basically get elected.
And I don't think he's trying to lie to people.
I don't think he's trying to either. I think he's definitely trying to work out a solution.
Like, again, I think Trump's a fucking asshat most of the time. But this situation, here is proof that here's a president trying to keep his promises to his
Yes.
people.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, these are huge choices. These
Right.
are complex choices. And, you know, the necessity of a president to have to make a choice on this, you know, they have to look at, you know, the pros and the cons and whatnot. But at the end of the day, people elected him to be president because of this.
Yeah.
So despite of what's politically correct or ethically or morally correct and yada, 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 you know, he needs to do what the people voted him to do.
Yeah, and he's definitely trying to make steps, and that's not the point that I want to hammer on. But it's important that that fact gets pointed out because nobody really looks at that part
Yeah.
of it. So I think it's important to show that, yes, he is working towards it, but maybe not in the best way possible.
And, like, what do you think about the whole, like, him asking all these questions? Like, he's getting hammered about asking all these questions.
Well, I just think it's inexperience.
And I think that's okay.
It is okay.
I
It's
don't-
fine.
I
I'm
don't
glad
want-
he's asking the questions.
Yeah, I don't want a president who's super experienced. I don't want senators who are super
Right.
experienced. I want a government that's for the people, by the people.
I think it's fine that he asked the questions. He obviously didn't know what he was doing. He had to ask questions to try and figure it out. That's how you learn
And
stuff.
that's not in reference to the Mexican Wall thing. That's in reference to the story about the immigrants coming over.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of sounded stupid, but I don't think... Because the guy was saying implicitly, like, you don't have to take these
Yeah.
people. You just have to vet them. And Trump just kept asking and
Now,
asking
now
and
here's my
asking.
issue with that. This is the point I want to make. How many people are we already vetting?
A lot.
And now how many people have to get pushed back in the line to, you know, expedite these 1,200 people?
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
So him saying, no, we're not going to vet them right now because guess what? The system's already flooded.
Right.
You know?
Well, and he even said you don't have to vet them right now. You can do it in the future.
Yeah.
He just kept trying to imply to Trump one thing that Trump was not understanding. And either that was Trump wanted him to outright say that was okay.
Yeah.
Or have it just be an implied thing. I think he was working towards getting the guy to, like, outright say
And-
it, so that he could, when he went and did it, he'd be like, "Look, bros, he fucking said I could do it."
Yeah. And here's the funny thing about that. I feel like this is a huge juxtaposition between the story with the Mexico Wall and the thing with these refugees is where in the first story with the Mexico Wall, Trump's just trying to get the president to say it's still up for negotiations.
Yeah.
We're still talking about it. And now in this story, it's that other dude with the white hair, whoever the hell he is just trying to get Trump to say,
Right.
yeah, we're going to vet him.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're going to hate Trump for getting the Nieto to say a certain thing, and are you going to hate Trump because he's not willing to say a certain thing?
Right.
It's
fucking complex.
it's very complex.
But I think that's what he was trying to do. I don't think it was anything more sinister than trying to get people to, like, say what they actually mean.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. And
Yeah.
people need to look at that. And you can be upset about the, like I said, you know, basically lying by omission by trying to get the Nieto to not talk about it. But at least he's trying.
Yeah.
I mean, it just sounds like a guy with an experience and a fragile ego.
I don't even know if it's a fragile ego. I mean, you can chalk it up to that, but I think it's deeper than that. I think it's more than that. I think Trump's literally, I genuinely, genuinely trying to keep his promise and trying to figure out a way to make it work for both nations.
Yeah.
And make it, you know, not that his public image is held up, but that the promise he made to the people gets held, you know, it gets fulfilled.
Sure.
So
I can get on with that.
all right, you had some interesting thoughts on the what did I title it as?
The butthole and
poke?
Taco Peak.
Yeah, the butthole poke and Taco Peak.
Taco Peak is a great restaurant. If you've never been there,
We'll go.
we should.
All
Or we're
right.
going to have to invent it, but it'll be great.
Yeah. So
My feelings on it.
Before you go further,
Uh huh.
like I said, I did a thing once, and it's vastly different than joining the police academy.
Right.
I understand that.
I'll just give you my retort on what you said,
Okay.
instead of my opinion on it. Like you just said, going into a police academy and going into the military are two entirely different things.
I agree.
A police officer is still a civilian,
Yes.
so they shouldn't be held to the standard that military guys are. There's some similarities, but they're stretches at best.
But we're not talking about the standards that the individuals are held to. We're talking about the process in which they get vetted to get that position.
Correct. And you got poked and prodded because you were going 10 steps above a fucking police officer. So you're held to a different standard. Therefore, your procedures needed to become to that standard.
Be a little bit more intimate.
Should be higher than
Yeah.
it is for a cop.
Okay.
You know what I mean? A basic physical is fine. That makes sense. Which I don't even know if they do that because I see a ton of fucking fat ass cops that I know I could outrun in a second.
Yeah. Well, maybe they were in shape at the
Once,
time.
right? So I think you equating it to joining the military is unfair. That's unfair. Also, not being a doctor is kind of a cop out because it's not a medical reasoning that people are upset about it. It's the fact that it's happening and that it was allowed.
Yeah, and like I'm like the reason I'm saying I'm not a doctor is because I don't know if it's, not medically okay.
Right,
to do
but they
those
had a
things.
doctor quoted that said there was no reason
So
to do it.
I'm now curious, if outside the MEPS and outside the military doctor saw the procedures that I was going through, like, why are you poking that dude's butthole? Why are you checking out a Star of David? There's no, I don't know. I don't know if it's necessary at all
Right,
for
you
men
just
or
went
women.
through and did it.
I just went through and did it. Don't ask, don't tell.
Right.
And
that's how you felt about it.
That's how I felt about it.
No, I get it. But I think that's an unfair comparison.
It is.
But it definitely serves your purpose to get it out there. The real issue with me, not issue, but the real concern with me about this story is that I had never heard of it until Phil talked about it. And I'm like, I watch a lot of news. Well, I don't really watch a lot of news, but I keep up on current events. And if this happened in 2014 and I'm hearing about it in 2017, that's the more concerning part about this story.
Well, when did
to
she
me.
talk about it? When did she come out?
I think it was like late last year.
Okay.
So even then, that's 6 months, 8 months.
It is interesting. Now, you brought up an interesting thing about, like, I said this happens to guys and girls going through the process that I did. And this situation with the police academy or whatever, is it happening to the guys?
As far as they know, it's only female.
It's only female.
As far as they know, it's only female.
Now, I'll take a step back and be like, whoa. Why is it only happening to the females?
Right.
Because if dudes were getting his fucking Star David poked and whatnot, then...
Well, then it's fair.
And now, for me,
I guess.
through the process, let's get a little dirty here. I just bent over and spread my cheeks. The fact that she laid down on a table and did all that may have been, a standard operating procedure to make it less intimate. Because if you're a girl, you're bent over, spreading your cheeks.
Right.
Like, you don't have to go into what that entails,
Yeah.
but you lay on a medical table, you spread your cheeks, and then they examine your butthole. It kind of takes away that sexual kind of thing.
Yes, but it's not. That's not the thing. The thing is they're saying they're checking for hernias, and then they're playing with her pussy in her butt.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's wrong.
Yeah,
it's wrong.
it
they,
is.
They fucked up, and there's probably some pervert that was recording it.
Now, I'm not trying to defend these perverts.
No, I
by
know
any
you're not.
means. I'm just trying to.
I'm
just trying to put perspective and understand this whole scope and whatnot. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I got my butthole poked and I went and did my thing.
Right.
So I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
No, but you're also it's an entirely different thing.
It is
Between becoming a military member and a police officer.
Yeah.
People fucking pay attention to this shit because it's important. Okay. That's all I want you to know.
All right, whatever.
It's important.
So moving on to the last story with
Oh boy, here we go. This is a
buddy.
two-parter.
Yeah,
this is a two-parter. So let's address the first part.
Yeah.
Which is her punishment. And I don't think we really disagree on anything here.
No.
I think the time in jail is more of a precedent because this is a new case or a new thing that we're seeing. So I think the 15 months, 2.5 years is hard for a judge to spit out a number like 10 or 12 when it's something that's just been brought to the forefront.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's too light. I think it's correct, and I think it's more of a mental issue than it is. American jail systems are not about rehabilitation anymore. So the
That's
year
a
and a
whole
half,
different. That's a whole different
exactly.
conversation.
But I'm just using it as a basis.
Yeah.
So that year and a half is not going to be shit that it works for. But then there's another, what was it, 5 years of probation or something afterwards, where she's
Yeah.
going to be monitored. I think that's where the real stuff is going to come out. You know, if she can be rehabbed in 5 years with
Yeah. What do you think about
medical
my
personnel.
three? What do you think about the three things I touched on that need to happen with her?
I agree with all of them. She has to be monitored. What were the other ones?
Well, the monitor was like an umbrella thing that needs to happen while the three
Yeah,
questions, but it's, does she have the capability of feeling empathy?
Mm-hmm.
Can that ability of feeling empathy be turned on?
Mm-hmm.
And three, is she willing and wanting
Right.
to
Well, I think that's what the 5 years.
express empathy?
Yeah. Well, and that's what I think the 5 years of psychological examination is going to be able to tell you. I can't tell you now if it's going to change anything or not, but a medical professional or probably a group of them is going to tell you.
Yeah, so it's an interesting take on what's going to happen. The problem that I have with all this is what's happening in the meantime. Like, how old is she?
Like young dude, probably like 19.
19. She's so dumb.
Right.
She's so
In your
inexperienced.
mind, still malleable at that point.
I don't think I really had any empathy at 19.
No. So I don't think the sentence is too light. I think it's just more important where the mental health issue
Yeah.
after that time in jail
Yeah.
comes from.
Now,
You could pause it and you could finish that up. Just hit our last point.
yeah. So, but let's go into the second part real quick.
It's going to take a while.
All right. Yeah, we'll take a quick intermission and then we'll get back at part two.
Just mark it and you can cut it out. It was fun.
So, hold on. Before you go, I had to flip this thing upside down.
You ain't got that pop filter, pussy bitch, you shut up. I don't remember what the lyric was. Or something like that, though.
You ain't got that pop filter, pussy bitch, shut up.
Is that what it was?
No, if you ain't about that murder game, then pussy nigga, shut up.
Yeah, what was the one Kevin had, though?
Who's Kevin?
Kevin. Something about a pop filter. CJ said it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking
yeah,
about?
Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember. I remember the conversation happening. I don't remember what took place during the conversation.
No.
Like, I remember Kevin being like,
No, it's just like a lyric from some song that he had done at one time.
oh, okay.
It didn't have like anything to do with him actually being there, but
I feel like he was, though.
no, it was CJ. It was something about like, if you ain't got that pop filter, I will slap you in the mouth.
Maybe.
Something.
Maybe. It sounded like the,
I don't listen to enough rap anymore, so.
you listen to more rap in a week than I do my entire life.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe a month.
Yeah. I mean, there's rappers that gotta turn you on to, and then you'll do the same thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know what kind of rap that I like.
Yeah, you like conscientious rap.
What is that?
Lupe Fiasco.
Okay.
Rap that.
Well, you're giving me examples of who raps conscientious rap.
What kind of rap?
But what
in
is
genre?
conscientious rap?
It's Lupe. It's
Again,
Mobb
you're giving me
Deep.
examples. You're not
It's
defining
Mobb
it.
Deep. It's
Mo Deep. Is that a
Roots.
rapper?
It's Roots. Mobb Deep.
What is Roots? Like, you're giving me more cryptic bullshit to explain.
Those are just guys.
Okay.
Or groups. Roots. Is
Well,
a
give
group,
me a
Mobb Deep's
definition, not
group.
examples.
Conscious hip hop is something that talks about, so like your general hip hop is about like guns, money, and girls, right?
I don't think that's general hip hop. I think
That's general hip hop.
that's like what it's evolved into. But
That's
I feel
general.
like
That's
hip
what you
hop.
hear about
I feel like
on-
hip hop's more defined by the beats used, the flow of the
Sure, right.
lyrics.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
that's the genre.
Yeah, that's
right. That's hip hop.
Yeah.
But then you have like pop hip hop. That's like Bruno Mars. Fucking who's that white dude that does that?
Katy Perry.
No, Michael Bublé. That motherfucker.
Isn't that a politician?
No, he's an R&B dude
Are
too.
you sure that's not a character on Arrested Development?
I've seen 4 episodes of Arrested Development,
It's
and I
not that
just want
good.
to stone cold stun Larry David.
Who's Larry David?
He's the fucking
bald
main
one?
dude. Yeah, he's the main dude. He's the dude
No, he's
that
the main
writes
one.
it.
He's like the main character.
Yeah. Fuck
Okay.
That guy. white Jew piece of shit.
Oh, gee, Sam's fucking drunk before we even start this podcast. He's already going ham on it. Jesus Christ.
There was a big pact between AIPAC and IIC. I think it's IIC or
I do see.
ICL. That just agreed that Israel needs to be taken down. We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, we're supposed to be talking about demonetization and how it relates to
All right, so
sentence verdicts.
So part 2. But before we get to part 2, let me just give you like a quick synopsis for hip hop that you should listen to.
Okay.
Hip hop has a section called Conscious, right?
Okay.
Lupe Fiasco says in a song called All Black Everything, which is like a song you just close your eyes and it's all black everything.
Yeah.
So it's like Fred Astaire was the first to do a backspin.
It's definitely got a double meaning.
The Jackson 5 were a cool group of white men that inspired a group called the Jacksons.
Okay.
Right. So he's like kind of role reversing and shit. Where he's just like, it really doesn't matter the race. Like, we put too much credence into this, and like everybody evolved into like a different kind of thing because of either being white or black, and it doesn't really fucking matter.
Yeah, talk to Ben Sharpie about race.
Yeah, I think Lupe Fiasco would destroy him, but
I think Lupe and Ben Sharpio would agree on a lot of things.
I think they would
race.
too.
It's funny because we've had
Abrams agrees.
Yeah, Abrams. How about you simmer the fuck down before?
Nah, he's agreeing, dude.
Yeah,
he's agreeing
sure,
hard.
whatever.
Good boy.
It's funny because you and I, we've had a couple conversations in the past where we talk about two people having a conversation about something, and you're quick to jump on. Oh, this person would either destroy that person in the conversation, or they would hold their own, or whatever.
Yeah.
And with the further, investigation, I look at these two people and I'm like, no, there wouldn't be a debate.
Mm-hmm.
There would be like a 2-minute blah 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 blah. Yeah, you right. Yeah, you right. Handshake. They go out and get a beer.
Yeah.
I forget who it was. It had to do with that one professor.
Yeah.
What's his name? Robert
Sepper.
Peterson.
Robert Sepper for sure though.
It was between him and I think Blair White.
No.
Who did we talk about? This was like a
Blair
month
and Lacey Green.
No. It was we were talking about if this person debated another person about some topic.
Lacey Green and Ben Shapiro, I think is what you're.
No, that was 2 minutes ago. Months ago, we were talking about the
months
professor the other day, if
Yeah.
I want to be more specific.
Right, very specific.
It was that professor dude, and I think it was Blair White, and you were like, I think you said something about Blair White destroying them, or like they would
No,
go
I
at
would
it.
never say Blair White destroys
No,
anybody.
I'm not saying that you did say that. I'm just saying you said one person would have destroyed the other person, or the other person.
I'm trying to think of a lefty person that I would have chosen.
But it wasn't lefty. They would have agreed on everything. I really dove into what they were saying and the sources that they were referencing and the opinion and really the agenda they were pushing. And I'm like, wait a second. These two wouldn't be debating about this topic.
They'd be agreeing on it.
They'd be agreeing on it. And then you wouldn't have a debate, and then it's boring.
Yeah.
You have to have that conflict in order for debate to be good. Because one thing I don't hate it, but you watch an interview or you watch a debate, and when there's too much patting each other on the back, and there's too much like, oh, you're so great.
Like Casey Neistat and Philip DeFranco.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're so good. No, you're so good.
Right.
Oh, no, you're so great. It's like, all right, come on, yell at each other.
Sure. Or not yell at each other,
know
but
what
at
I
least
meant.
get defensive about their
Yeah,
point.
at least call each other out on some shit. Constructive criticism at the baseline.
Yeah.
Give each other constructive criticism. But yeah, rap.
I wish I could remember who we were talking about.
So do I. I mean, it's in our Facebook.
I'm sure it's
Chat.
somewhere.
You
We
know,
could find it.
10,000 pages up. You and I talk to each other more than two schoolgirls passing notes back in high school on
Man, I
Facebook.
miss passing notes.
It's dead. It's
I was
dead
such
art.
a bad I was a great noter, but like my folds were really bad.
Yeah. I knew a couple people who didn't do the folding of the notes. They just passed journals
Oh,
in
really?
the hallway between
That's
classes.
that must have been good because I never did that.
Well, you
with
got a
pencil.
spiral notebook. One person
Uh-huh.
has it for this
I
period.
never had any.
Or there's 2 spiral notebooks, and
Right.
each other write in it. And during passing period,
Right. I was high my entire high school career.
I never did drugs or drank or smoked anything in high school.
I never had a pencil or a piece of paper. I was that
Neither
asshole
did I.
that was always asking for one.
Yeah, so was I. I never asked though.
Oh, I always.
So I had to get like photographic memory.
I was
And
just like stoned, and I found like the smartest looking person near me, and I'm like,
you sat next to me in astronomy
did I sleep the entire time?
most days.
Yeah, I remember some of astronomy. I think most of it I spent either sleeping or making fun of the teacher.
I loved Hoffman.
I didn't hate him.
I loved him.
He was very good at taking like the criticisms that I gave him.
Yeah, and he built up a shield to where the bullshit that assholes like you gave him in school, he just learned. And I'm sure this came from a lifetime
Yeah,
of
that guy
taking
got
shit,
bullied
not just
all his
as a high
life.
school teacher.
I feel like an asshole for bullying him, but he probably got it all his life.
Yeah,
He was not good looking.
he
like,
wasn't.
short.
And he was
He
rude.
dressed boringly.
No, he had the Indiana Jones thing going on. He
But
did. Wait, who was that actor who played Indiana Jones?
Harrison Ford, that
Yeah.
guy's a handsome
Yeah,
motherfucker.
he didn't
that
have-
guy's like in his 60s. I'd still suck his dick.
Yeah. Mr. Hoffman didn't have the Harrison Ford thing going on, but he did
You know what's
have
up.
the Indiana Jones thing going on.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no.
I loved him. He was a good dude.
I'm sure he was good.
He was a cool dude.
I was just high and slept most of the
Yeah.
time. I always hung out in astronomy. It was that chubby kid that I always hung out with.
Dave Bailey
No,
and Dan Daly,
No, it was the kid in astronomy.
Smetley Butler,
No, it was the kid in astronomy with me. His name was like James or
John
something.
Basilone,
He had like long blonde hair. We both.
Andrew.
I thought it was a J name. I don't
Andrew.
know. But I always hung out with him in astronomy class, but like never anywhere else. Because I was like the cool weird kid, and he was just like the weird kid.
You think you were the cool weird kid?
Yeah, at least in my class.
I was in your astronomy class.
I know, but like you were probably like,
I was a junior.
you were a junior.
You were a
and I was
senior.
senior, right?
Steven Johnson sat right behind us.
Yeah, he was never cool though. People just bought drugs from him.
Truth.
Like I was cool, and I'm not like getting high on myself.
No, you do though. I get high off you.
I shaved this. His name was James.
Iverson.
And maybe he was fat and like nobody really liked him, but I like talked to him because he was like the only person that I could really like talk to in
Yeah.
that class. So we
Yeah.
like hung out together, but he slept all the time too.
Yeah.
It was hard in high school when I would just like party till 4 a.m. Like everybody talks about their college experience. My college experience was high school.
Yeah. And then after high school, you went straight into the work environment.
Yeah, not even. I took like 4 years off.
Oh yeah, I don't know anything about your in between 4 years. Should we get into that now, or should we actually dive into the demonetization?
Let's get our demonetization in.
Okay.
We gotta get this part recorded. Like we need to like put like a marker
segment right
in
here?
somewhere so we can like talk about what
Okay,
like
let's go
actually.
to. Bam, we got a marker set.
Part 2: monetization of tragic events.
First off, I want to point out that demonetization has the word demon in it.
Demonetization.
Tization.
D meaning the fourth letter of the alphabet. Mon being man. And
Yep.
tization
Fourth dimensional men.
playing with titties.
So, where the fuck are we supposed to go with that?
Yeah, don't stop it again.
All right, we'll
we
stop it
fucked that
again.
all up.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, fuck. We should never drink and do these.
This is for Mostly Inebriated. Welcome to Mostly Inebriated with Ass Hat and Ass Hat who aren't making any fucking sense about what they're supposed to be right now. So there's this story that came out with some fucking bitch.
No, stop it, dude.
Okay.
Let's like hold on, give it a second.
Okay, I'll go ahead and pause it. So welcome to part 2 of whatever the fuck we did earlier.
Yeah.
And you just stated that you know all the points that I want to bring up with the lifetime clause.
Right. So your thing is, she can't profit off it. It's been written in law. Part of her sentence is she can't write a book. She can't do a Lifetime movie.
She can't make a YouTube channel.
She can't make a YouTube channel. She can't go on TMZ and talk about it and shit. But what does that mean for creators like Phil or other YouTube channels or even mainstream media that gets to talk about it and get profit off of it?
Newspapers, radios,
Any of it.
podcast, magazines,
Right. Mm-hmm.
all of it.
Right.
People are capitalizing a lot off of talking about this topic because people want to hear about the topic, and people already have their, their A, B, and C of news sources they go to get information.
Sure.
So when they see that headline on that magazine versus Philip Defranco talking about it, that magazine's getting the sales while they're
It doesn't matter who talks about it. The fact that they're talking about and profiting about it is the point.
Yes.
Right. So, to get to the matter of the argument is, how do you feel about that?
I think it's fine. I think it's awesome. I think it's more insult to injury to her. But what I'm trying to correlate it and bring it back to is, this whole Germany thing's going on where they're making YouTube take shit off within 2 days.
Yeah.
Impossible unless you have some supercomputer go through all this shit.
Right.
So what I think would help that system is when you get sentences like a trial or a case that, we're talking about the bombing and wherever. And if what's his face talks about it on his YouTube channel about this bombing, he gets demonetized. But automatically because it's controversial, it's going to hurt someone's feelings. It's going to, put this group of people in a bad light. But I think the whole lifetime clause could really be used as a tool to allow those algorithms, those computers, to decide what get monetized and what gets demonetized. So she got the lifetime clause.
Sure.
Now, anytime her name or that story gets tagged in a video, because a judge, because a human, made the decision at the time of the trial, that then takes care of all the millions of decisions that come thereafter. Because there's tons of people uploading content talking about this.
Yeah.
So if there's a judge one time makes a choice, lifetime clause, bam, that computer now knows to demonetize all the shit talking about it. Is it fair to the creators? No.
Dude, that's so bad.
It is bad. It's super bad. I don't agree with it. But what I
bad.
also don't agree with is all these other videos getting demonetized for no fucking reason other than the fact that it hurts someone's feelings or it puts a group of people in a bad light because that's their perception on it.
But the problem is, it's not getting demonetized because it hurts anybody's feelings. It's being demonetized because she was told that she's not allowed to profit off the situation.
Yes, you're right, and that's a valid reason to demonetize something.
No, it's not.
It's
because then you have to demonetize everything. Like, anytime anybody talks about anything that anybody did, if it hurts their feelings, if it's newsworthy, then they're just like, oh, you gotta demonetize
No,
it.
not anyone says you have to demonetize it. There has to be a judge. There has to be an official statement, an official verdict.
Right, sure. So once that official verdict is in, the news can just never talk about it, so nobody ever gets to hear about it?
No, it's not going to work like that because, sure, the YouTube video that you post is demonetized, but you're still pulling in views because you're talking about it.
Right, but
those
it's demonetized. And, like,
views... Hold on, let me finish. Those views are going to lead to Patreon subscribers. Those views are going to lead to subscribers who are going to watch other videos that they can make profit off of. Those, it's the whole cycle. It's not just ad revenue. It's a big part. It's a huge part. I'm not trying to,
No, I get it.
say that smaller, but newspapers that are writing about it, they're not really making money off the sales of the newspaper because they're talking about their story. They're making it off because you're going to that particular site to read the story, and there's ads on those sites. So maybe when they pull up that article on that newspaper, they're just not allowed to put ads on that.
It doesn't work that way, dude.
I know it doesn't, but
It doesn't work that way,
You know what
dude.
doesn't work? You know what doesn't work? Germany's saying, "Hey, YouTube, you have to take this content off in 48 hours."
Right.
That doesn't work.
You're deflecting. The point is, you're telling me that like YouTubers are gonna get demonetized for it, but then newspapers are gonna be allowed to run it because they don't necessarily make money off the paper.
They're not allowed to put
way.
ad with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if they're still a newspaper company, like if the Tribune publishes it, they're still gonna get ads that you can't block on their like physical paper.
You're right. All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Between
Like,
internet and physical medium, it's
but
it's
there
a hard
shouldn't
transition.
be a separation.
Yeah.
Like there, it's media. It's
Yeah.
the same thing. Like if Fox News runs the story and there's a Cheerios commercial in that Fox News broadcast,
Okay.
like it doesn't change that. Like if you want to be like she can't profit off it, and why is everybody else gonna get to profit off it?
I think it's fine that everyone profits off.
No,
of it.
I know you think it is.
Yeah.
Right. I get that. But bringing up the question to be like, hey Phil, is it fucked up that you say she shouldn't be able to profit off it when
No. If that's the way I came off, I apologize for it.
Uh-huh.
I didn't mean to come off as, "Hey Phil, it's kind of shitty that you're profiting off something that she can't." No. That I apologize.
that's not what it's about.
That's not what it's about at all. What I'm trying to do is put myself in the shoes of like a YouTube executive or you know the German fuckers who are trying to ban all this shit.
Right.
Or put myself.
So where does the censorship bureau above capitalism?
Yes.
Where do they draw the
Yeah,
line?
because I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of those bureaucrats who are trying to decide what gets demonetized, what doesn't, and the system you use to demonetize stuff. And I think that this whole verdict of the lifetime clause makes more logical sense.
So like everybody doesn't get anything from
Yeah, I'm just using this. I
Yeah.
feel like that makes more sense, and it's more consistent,
Yeah.
and it's less biased. You know, because you have a judge who made a decision, and now that gets laid out.
Right.
Whereas you see shit on YouTube that's getting demonetized, because this channel's posting this shit and talking about it, and it doesn't get demonetized. But
Right.
this channel, who's talking about the same thing in the same context, is getting demonetized.
Right. Well, and that's more of a slippery slope. But what you're saying is like if the judge hands down that lifetime verdict,
Yeah.
everybody has to adhere to it.
I don't personally. That's not right. I don't think.
No, that's scary.
Yeah,
dude.
it is. It's super
That's
scary. And I think demonetization in general is scary. Nothing should get demonetized.
Demonetization in general is scary to a point, but when like literally all your video is ISIS propaganda, there's no reason for you to be monetized.
No.
Like if all your video is ISIS cutting off heads of people that they disagree with,
Yeah.
or Republicans strictly bashing liberals,
Yeah.
which that doesn't happen. But it doesn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But it's equatable.
But what about what's their face posting videos every day, and all it is videos of their dog doing something? Does that need to be demonetized?
No, that has no reason to ever be touched.
So what's the reason for demonetizing something? Because it offends someone? Because it puts someone in harm?
It's taking a stance on something.
So anything that takes a stance needs to be demonetized.
Not demonetized, but it needs to be looked at and decided whether this should.
I disagree wholeheartedly, because then you're allowing certain stances to be demonetized and other stances not to be demonetized.
Yeah, but we're not talking about a democratic republic. We're talking about a publicly traded private network. You know what I mean? Like, YouTube gets that choice.
Yeah, all right, so...
We're not talking about the United States of America,
No.
where, like, things are... I think in a publicly traded thing where, like, YouTube has to uphold a standard, they need to be able to choose what they pay for in that standard.
What
You know what I
is
mean?
different? What's different about YouTube's policy on what's allowed to get posted versus what was allowed to get posted 10 years ago? or 20 years ago.
Well, there was no YouTube 20
It was
years
like,
ago.
what, didn't it come out like in 98?
Maybe.
99?
All right, but still, like 20 years ago. Okay, so you have to think like 20 years ago.
It's
like,
evolved. It's allowed to change.
It's its infancy.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
allowed
the
to change.
beginning
Yeah.
stages. Like, would you adhere to what you thought as a 2-year-old to what you now think as a 27-year-old? Like, things
Yeah.
are allowed to evolve.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
has changed. I'm not saying that what YouTube does is right, but they're a business.
True.
So if they want to be like, hey, if you're a dog person and you want to hate on cats in your videos, that's cool. But if you're an ISIS person and you want to hate on non-ISIS people, that's a different category.
I think my problem here is, I'm going to, 'cause I agree with you on YouTube's right to decide things. When I hear about the whole demonetization argument going on, especially what Germany wants to happen on the internet.
Which is kind of different from YouTube.
Yeah. That's the thing. You have YouTube doing their demonetization and their censorship.
Which
and then-
is like far smaller than like people really think it is.
Yeah, because it's only, 400 hours every minute being uploaded.
I mean, there's a lot that's going on.
Yeah.
Sure.
But in the
grand scheme of things, YouTube's maybe touching between 2 and 5% of that.
Yeah, because
Like,
you
it's not
have
that big.
so many other outlets that are allowing you to
Right.
profit off of. I mean,
VidMe, Vimeo,
Mixler, fucking
Mixler,
Spreaker.
Vote, Spreaker. There's tons
There's
of them.
tons of shit that you can get your crap out on.
Right.
But YouTube is
The biggest.
The biggest.
By far.
So then you have Germany, which is a nation, telling a private corporation to take shit off their website
Yeah.
to not be allowed to be viewed in their country. What the fuck?
Well, YouTube should take them big old shoulders that they got and stand up to and be like, look, bro, we understand what's wrong, and we're going to make sure that shit gets taken off. But for the shit that you're scared of with your anti-government stuff, well, fuck it. It's going to be on there because we don't think it's that big of a deal.
But it's so, okay, so YouTube is an American-based company, correct?
I believe so, yes.
We'll get back to y'all on that. But YouTube is an American-based company, so the people, the citizens who own that company, fall under the inalienable rights of American naturalized citizens, correct? So what the fuck does the bureaucracy of another nation have any foot in telling them how to run their business?
Well, it's a business, not a government. So, like, if they look at their books and they're like, whoa, we make a 77%
Wait,
profit
who's
from
not a
Germany.
government and who's a business?
YouTube's not a government.
Yeah,
It's
true.
a business.
Yeah, so what is
And
another
so,
government?
like the German government says to the business YouTube, we need you to get rid of this. And YouTube looks at their books and they're like, whoa, we make a 77% profit from the German fans. Maybe we need to concede to their government a little bit to continue to make 77% and not drop to 60% or whatever.
But the amount of hours and money, let's just call it resource. The amount of resources YouTube would have to put in to meet Germany's demands, because this isn't happening across the globe. It's happening what's allowed to be, broadcasted into Germany.
Yeah.
So, good old
Well, and I get
Deutschland.
that, and then
How the fuck do you even do? I don't understand the internet, for one, but two,
neither do I, but I understand business, and maybe YouTube sees enough of their business in Germany where they can pull back the books and be like, I guess we can delegate this, and this, and pay him, her, and him to do this so we can continue to operate in Germany, so we can continue to have this profit margin.
So what's Germany's like, if, let's say YouTube says, fuck off Germany, we're going to keep shit going.
They did it to China.
And then what does China do? They completely block the website.
Right. But
Okay.
did that hurt YouTube at all? Nobody
No.
saw a
No.
noticeable... Right, exactly. So
And there's-
obviously YouTube sees something in Germany where they're like, okay, I guess we're going to have to work with you.
Yeah, there's that slingshot guy.
Oh, yeah, that guy's dope as
And
shit.
Survival Lily's German too, isn't she?
She's moving to the United States.
Is she?
Yeah.
But she's from Germany or Austria?
Germany.
Okay. But yeah, there's a couple YouTubers out in Germany.
There's probably a lot.
Yeah.
I can only think of two.
right now.
That YouTube guy's the fucking rubber band guy.
Dude,
Bring him over.
yeah.
Like, let's get him a place in Arkansas or something.
Yeah,
Like,
I love him.
that dude's awesome.
Let me show you its features.
Fucking love that
he's
guy.
great.
But what I'm saying is, like, YouTube as a private corporation can pick and choose what they want to do for certain governments. And obviously Germany's important enough for them to be like, I guess we're going to have to devote stuff to this to stay in your market.
And where I'm going wrong is I see this demonetization thing happening to YouTube, so I feel like demonetization is happening across the board. Which it's not. I guess it's not. You know, it's a YouTube kind of thing.
It was for a while.
It was what for a while?
Dude, they were demonetizing everything. You remember that?
Well, YouTube was.
Like 6-7 months ago?
But was was Vimeo demonetizing shit? Was Patreon demonetizing shit?
Well,
was CNN demonetizing their journalist? Was Alex Jones demonetizing his fucking journalist?
Alex Jones has like far beyond. He doesn't really need his AdSense anymore. Alex Jones is beyond that.
He makes enough money off of selling fear into old paranoid conspiracy theorists 1 ounce at a time.
Yeah. You said it better when you were just like, he sells fears at 1 ounce bottles at a time.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I like that quote.
Yeah. He sells fear in 1 ounce bottles.
Yeah, I like that. But Phil Defranco, in the same way, has sold fad and fashion in one T-shirt at a time. It's the same thing, different mediums.
It's capitalism.
Right. Those guys aren't as dependent on you.
I don't know what happened to the recording there.
It's all gone.
No, we got most of it. I don't know. I don't know if we got the quote about me saying that Alex Jones sells fear in 1 ounce bottles, but we do now.
Okay.
What the fuck were we talking about? Oh yeah, ethics and shit. I wanted you to tell, like, I feel the way you feel about philosophy is how I feel about the school of ethics.
Basically, I don't hate it. I just think it's unnecessary.
I feel the same way about ethics.
Right. I don't hate it. Like, I respect the people that practice it and like look into it. I respect you for looking into it and kind of breaking it down on a different dynamic.
Well, I feel like, ethics impedes you from future shit.
Yeah.
And philosophy allows you to advance in certain shit.
It almost seems like ethics and philosophy are undeniably intertwined. Ethics extends from philosophy.
It does, because it's answering questions that can't be answered.
And philosophy survives because of ethics.
I don't think philosophy is allowed because it's ethically necessary.
I didn't say it was allowed. I said it survives.
I think it survives because it's, what's that quote about history being studied?
If you don't
study history, you're doomed to repeat the past. Yeah. So I feel like philosophy.
But that goes both ways. Look at it from the opposite. So if you don't study history, you're doomed to repeat it. So that's a very philosophical. You're fucking hammered. That's a good word, dude.
Philosophical.
That's a good word.
That's a good word.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
Dude. So that's a very philosophical way to interpret it. But if you look at it backwards, if you don't study the reasons of history,
yeah,
you're doomed to repeat that motive.
Yeah.
And that's a very ethical look.
No.
No. Because you're not... okay, so explain why no.
Because... So, the whole statement of, if you don't study history, you're doomed to repeat the past.
You agree that that's a philosophical standpoint?
I agree that it's a standpoint, that it's a statement. It doesn't really get philosophical until you start dissecting what history is.
Right.
And history isn't just a series of events. History is a series of events backed by motives, backed by personalities, backed by nations, backed by needs and wants. It's backed by human flaw and all those things.
Those are ethics, though. Like, all those hit into the branch of ethics.
Needs don't.
Needs don't, but that hits the philosophical point.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm saying, if you look at the base statement of if you don't study history, you're doomed to repeat it, that's a very philosophical thing, because you have to look at the philosophical points of why things led up to the other. But if you break it back down, you break it back down to ethics and why those things were done. Because those things weren't done philosophically, they were done ethically to appease the people that were there at the time. Not on a psychological level, but on an ethical level, because that's why they put people in power.
I think we're at a crossroads here, and it's either I don't have a good enough.
No, I don't think we're at a crossroads. I think we're at a meeting point.
Well, I feel like either I don't fully understand what ethics is about, or you don't understand what ethics is about. Because all the things you're listing, I can't agree with. Those are ethical issues.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like ethics boils down to, right and wrong.
Right.
And that's really what ethics boils down to, is right and wrong.
Correct.
Where you look at reasons aren't
We're
right
not
or
talking
wrong.
about reasons. We're talking about...
We were talking about reasons why things happened in the past.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the motive behind the events that happened in history.
Correct.
So we're not studying...
the ethical reason, not the philosophical reason. Because the philosophical reason things that happened were driven by, like, things that, like, people thought were right at the time.
And did they think what they were thinking, is that ethical? And again, for me, I say ethics is a waste of time, because to sit there and argue about to whether someone thought the way they thought, whether the way they thought was ethical or not,
Mm-hmm.
is a waste of time, because the fact is they thought that was right.
Sure.
So you have to go from the perspective of what that person was thinking was right or not.
I think you're almost right, to the point where we're at a standstill, because psychology and ethics are almost both a matter of choice and a matter of decision, because you can't tell anybody that, like, their philosophy is wrong or their ethics are wrong.
You can.
Oh, you can. Sure, you can tell people
Well, I mean,
the word
philosophy...
is flat. I can tell you that
No,
you're not wearing a hat right now. I can tell you whatever the fuck I want.
That's not philosophy, though. Philosophy is backed by logic and chain of logic and reasoning and analytic arguments and shit.
It's all subjective.
Logic's
entirely subjective.
To a degree. The analytics...
100%, not to a degree. Logic is 100%.
Subjective?
Subjective.
I mean, the analytics is well allowed.
Like logically, I can say that bleach is a better water purifier than iodine is. But they both react the same. But logically, I just like iodine better.
All right, so I think that's a very bad example, because
it's a terrible example. It's just the first one I could come up with.
And I don't want to sit and waste time dissecting why it's a terrible example and your response to your...
You don't have to take a lot of time. It was just the first one I picked.
Yeah, but, there's... I can't think of the word right now because I'm also inebriated. Intrinsic value... Mm-hmm. Or intrinsic meaning.
Mm-hmm.
So
intrinsic means like what a person
from
puts
an anthropological,
into, right? Like that's it's a tough.
Well,
word
okay,
to
so
use,
let's break it down to math. All right, so A is equal to B.
Sure.
So B is equal to A.
Right.
Right.
And then A plus B equals C.
Not always,
That's the transitive property.
No, A equals B and B equals C, so C equals A is the transitive property.
Right.
You're fucking using addition and shit, which totally throws that out the wing. Like, but you see the chain of logic with using math. Transitive property: A equals B, B equals C, so C must equal A.
Right.
So that's a very logical and rational thing that you could show that to a dog almost. You know, like, hey, this food dish has food in it. So this food dish has in it. And if this food dish has in it, so does this food dish in it have. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bad example in its own right, just as bad as your
Dude, they're all bad examples. There's no way we can equate logic to philosophy.
You can, and I'll get back to you in December when I finish my philosophy of logic class.
I just don't think you can. I mean, all schools of logic or all schools of thought are always going to be debated, and it's just you just gotta fucking deal with it.
It's not dealing with it. It's what the groundwork that philosophers have done. And philosophers
But what have philosophers fucking done? I don't have internet because of fucking philosophers.
You do.
No, I don't.
All right, stop right there.
Let
me break this down to you.
Tell me why I have internet because of philosophers.
So the internet is powered by computers, correct?
Good night, Cassidy.
Good night, Zim. The invasion's over. Can I have a kiss before you go to bed? Get over here. This is a live kiss.
Oh boy.
Ooh, baby. This is some scandalous shit.
Softcore porn.
Ooh, yeah. Yes. High five.
Good night. So, the internet is undeniably powered by the use of computers.
It's undeniably alive.
That's a whole different podcast. And I'll back that statement up 100 fucking percent.
I just wanted to throw it out.
The internet
there.
is alive. It is
has
sentient. It's being enslaved. But anyways.
And fuck all of you for enslaving it.
Yeah. You know who you are. Elon Musk. Dick Cheney.
Al Gore.
Fuck you fuckers. Free the internet.
I want that t-shirt.
But internet is powered by computers.
Mm-hmm.
And computers use a language to communicate. That language, the computer language, all that shit, was developed, through analytic language.
Mm-hmm.
The analytics, I can't think of a fucking of a dude right now, but a dude wrote a essay called "What It's Like to Be a Bat." He was an analytic dude. Their work in philosophy of writing the philosophy of analytics. That was the framework designed to write computer programs.
Yeah.
Math, Pythagoras, Euclid, all them dudes, philosophers.
No, I wouldn't call them philosophers. They're mathematicians.
They were mathematicians. They were also philosophers. Because...
You're taking a step there, dude.
No, I'm not taking a step. It's fucking fact, dude.
They were philosophers and mathematicians?
Yes. They were mathematicians before math, like a mathematician was a thing. You know what I mean? It was their works and their studies in philosophy that led to their mathematical discoveries. What are you trying to do here, handsome?
I can't hear anything. Abrams got angry and screwed it up.
We're having some technical difficulties here.
What's up, bro?
The 500-pound pit bull laying on the couch destroyed the connection.
Like the most important time, too.
Because I don't even know what the fuck we were talking about. Here's the plug. Put your dick in this hole.
Alright, I can hear it again.
Alright. Time out. I'm taking a break here.
Oh, there we go.
Where you at?
You fixed it.
Dude, so all I remember was that I was trying to equate my feeling towards the philosophy of ethics to how you just feel about philosophy in general. And then we ended up having a 5-hour fucking side conversation off air.
That's the worst.
No, it's the best.
It's terrible.
Because the content we just created off air is probably some of the best content we can get. But at the same time, I feel like the content we just created off air belongs to you and I.
It only belongs to you and I, and hopefully, like, there were an audience, but there's not.
And maybe one day
I wish there was, like, 2 or 3 dudes sitting there listening to what, like, we talked about.
Yeah. But maybe one day we'll talk about it on air.
Hopefully we'll never have to talk about it on air.
Maybe. Philosophy's stupid, dude.
Philosophy's stupid.
And I'm majoring in it.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you're stupid.
I'm stupid as fuck.
Yeah, you ain't that smart. You ain't stupid.
No, I'm stupid as fuck.
I wouldn't say you're stupid.
Dude.
I know some stupid people.
I've been... Alright, so for the listeners out there, no time has passed at all.
None.
But for us, hours have passed.
Hundreds of hours.
I'm fucking hammered.
And now we're hundreds of hours.
Welcome to Mostly Inebriated, where Hansel and Skuzz make a fucking fool of themselves.
So what are we going to talk about then?
Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Let's keep this conversation going.
All about that conversation, girl.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.